How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store's Black Friday sale is kicking off tomorrow, and I've got a video where we can look at 10 deals to expect, because guess what? The Xbox's Black Friday store has already gone live, and there's gonna be direct parity with these deals. Obviously, PlayStation has some exclusives and games that aren't available on Xbox and things of that nature, but there are some major game deals that I did want to highlight, and, you don't gotta wait till tomorrow to find out what some of the bigger games of 2025 are going to be discounted to. And yeah, like I said, a lot of the game deals from the digital end are going to be more expensive than the physical counterparts, but I already see some pretty good digital deals, all things considered. You know, not getting 80% off or 60% off on the major game releases of recent memory of 2025, but still some decent stuff. I did, based on looking through, there were some omissions. Like, I saw that the Mafia Old Country Deluxe Edition was on sale, but the Standard Edition I don't believe is on sale, which is a huge bummer because that's been going down to $30, and I feel like that's one of those games that a lot of people want to pick up, and ain't nobody trying to pick up the Deluxe Edition of that, but nonetheless, hopefully there's ample opportunity for you guys to pick up the games that you do want. With that being said, got 10 deals to go over here, and a special 11th deal at the end of this video on a game that maybe you want to check out, but more on that at the end. Okay, right off the top, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, 30% off for $49. Actually a little bit steeper of a discount than I expected on this game. Very happy to see this because this has not been going on sale all that much. I don't believe we've seen a $50 physical price point yet, but given that this is going down to $49 digitally, man, I'm hoping an Amazon and Best Buy comes in clutch and gets like the physical copies down to $40. I think a lot of people would jump all over that. I love this game. I thought it was great. I mean, it's a remake of, in my opinion, one of the greatest PlayStation 2 games of all time, and I think some people would literally have MGS3 as their best PS2 game of all time. It's an outstanding game, and, $70 for a remake of a PS2 game, I could definitely see why people thought that was super expensive, even if it's one of the greatest PS2 games, if not the greatest PS2 game of all time. I loved it, played through it, had a great time with it, and I would definitely recommend it. Obviously, Fox Hunt is there, but, I don't know how many people are really looking to get into that, but a great game. Snake Eater, goated video game theme song. I mean, that ladder scene in this game, the ladder section is still embedded into my memory bank. And, yeah, love Metal Gear Delta Snake Eater, and for $49, I do think it's a pretty good deal. Silent Hill F is 20% off for $56. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't crazy about this game. I hated the combat in this game. Let me just be as blunt as possible. I hated the combat in this game, adding some Souls-like combat style. I just was not crazy about that. I did think the atmosphere, the tension, all of those elements that make a horror game, for me, the quality of a horror game is tied to a lot of that. I thought they knocked it out of the park. I thought the narrative was incredibly compelling. It is a game you gotta play through multiple times if you really want to get all of the story. $56 is pricey. $56 I would say is pricey. I would say wait till 40-ish, but you know what? If you're into horror games, you'll probably have a good time with it. It just wasn't my cup of tea, but that's okay. A lot of other people really liked it, and hey, more power to them. I really dug the Silent Hill 2 remake. F just was not my cup of tea, and again, it is what it is, not the biggest deal in the world, but I digress. For $56, a nice little discount on that. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster, Rune, and Dunan Unification Wars. I just realized I'm giving Konami a lot of attention here. 30% off for $35. Hey, shout out to them. They're bringing back some of their classic franchise, and Suikoden 1 and 2 are a good pair of games in this collection. Suikoden 2 for a long time was like egregiously expensive to get like a physical PlayStation 1 copy, so it's actually quite nice that now the game is accessible across the board to a wide amount of people. But yeah, $35 on that, I would say, is a decent pickup. It's one of those games that I foresee will hold up in price for a little while, but yeah, good little discount on that. Bleach Rebirth of Souls is 40% off for $36. Look, I'm a sucker for Bleach. I love Bleach as an anime. It was one of the anime that I grew up with. I very much grew up in the big three era with Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece, although I never really watched One Piece. But Bleach and Naruto were right up my alley, and I just felt like Bleach never got its shine with, like, great video games. I know there was, like, the BLEACH games on PSP that never came stateside. The BLEACH Nintendo DS games were actual bangers that a lot of people don't remember. I think it was Fade to Black in particular on DS was just awesome. But yeah, you just don't get a lot of great BLEACH games, or we didn't get a lot of great BLEACH games. I thought Rebirth of Souls was a solid outing and really did BLEACH justice. I was very, very happy with what BLEACH Rebirth of Souls offered. I think the art style is fantastic. The visual presentation was great. The soundtrack in this game is awesome. In terms of like the menu and stylistic presentation, with all of that, I think it's really well done. The campaign, quite lengthy, albeit a lot of it is just retelling the BLEACH story, but, you know, that's what you expect out of an anime fighting game. Really liked it. $36, nice discount on that, given it came out earlier this year. Hell is Us, 30% off for $42. Hell is Us, I feel like, is a game that's very much an acquired taste. I've had multiple friends play this game, and they dropped it. It just wasn't their cup of tea. The idea of being left to your own devices, I think you really have to know what to expect out of it in terms of this game really lets you uncover the world to yourself. And I think some people will be all aboard that. I think it is a bit of a throwback in the sense that it's not hand-holding all the time. For me, you know, as a washed-up old man, as I like to say, I like a little bit of hand-holding in my games these days, so Hell is Us wasn't really my cup of tea, but, you know, that's just a me thing, and that's totally fine. Not every game is gonna be for you, and Hell is Us wasn't for me, and that's totally okay, and $42 for it. Nice little discount, 30% off there. How about a game that was for me, you guys? Ninja Gaiden 4. It's 20% off for $56. So it's still at a hefty price point. Guys, for my money, Ninja Gaiden 4 was literally one of my favorite games of the year. I know nobody really has it at that level in terms of critical reception and things like that. Oh my god, the story isn't that good. The Dark Dragon, nobody cares about the Dark Dragon. Yo, I don't care about the story in this game. I got into this game for badass action gameplay, and guess what? This game gave me badass action gameplay in spades. It gave me an awesome soundtrack. What I wanted out of Ninja Gaiden 4 was a game that made me feel like an absolute badass, and this game made me feel like an absolute badass, and sometimes that's what you want out of a game. And guess what? Decent bit of content here. You know, you've got a couple of optional side activities in each level, 15 to 16 hour-ish campaign, replayability with the harder difficulty option. I just really liked it. And yo, I like Yakumo as a character as well. If you're like even remotely an anime fan, I feel like Yakumo is every like angsty anime main character that you see, or, you know, a lot of anime main characters. And yeah, yo, is he a little cringe? Sure, but it fits in Ninja Gaiden. I get that a lot of people love Ryu as a character, but I liked Yakumo, and I liked his vibe throughout the game. I really hope Ninja Gaiden is a franchise that's here to stay, because, man, they delivered a banger with Ninja Gaiden 4, and even at just 20% off, look, I get it. Maybe that price point's still a little bit high, and if it is, by all means, wait for it to get cheaper, but at the very least, have it on your radar and pick it up sometime on sale. Outer Worlds 2 is 20% off for $56 as well. This is a game that I'm working my way through right now, and I am enjoying it. I'm not as blown away by it as a lot of other people, but I think it's a totally fine RPG. I do like the smaller scale that Outer Worlds 2 does have versus a lot of other RPGs. I just think that works for Obsidian's RPGs, and, you know, story's pretty good. The dialogue, I think it's not as engaging to me as some other RPGs, but I definitely get why people like it. It's just, I probably wouldn't put it in, like, best RPG of the year, or best, let's say game of the year mix, because how many RPGs really did come out this year? Probably a decent bit, and Outer Worlds 2 probably ranks at the higher level of them, but I think it's a pretty good game. I'm just not blown away by a lot of the Obsidian games these days, like a lot of other people. Like Avowed didn't do it for me, Outer Worlds 1 didn't do it for me, and Outer Worlds 2, I like the game. It's just, would I personally pay $56 for it? Probably not, but, you know, if you like RPGs, you'll probably have a pretty good time. And again, this is one that I'm very much in the minority as far as my opinion. Gears of War Reloaded seeing a steep discount here, 35% off for $26. I think this is a pretty good buy. I thought the $40 price tag was already really good. I get it, it's just Gears 1 and the campaign is fairly short. I mean, the campaign to Gears 1 you could complete in like 7 hours, but you know, I think it's a fun time. Multiplayer is there as well. Just having Gears of War on PlayStation, man, is ridiculous, and hopefully, you know, with the Microsoft published games, I doubt that they would would do something where the games are more expensive on PlayStation. Hopefully it does see parity and it's down to $26 on PlayStation as well. But yeah, I had a great time with it. Hopefully, you know, Gears E-Day drops and it's quite good, and Gears as a franchise, you know, is revitalized a little bit. This game didn't seemingly do as well as I thought it would do, but, you know, it is what it is. I would still say it's a good pickup at this price point. A couple of other deals that aren't on games from this year, but last year. Star Wars Outlaws, $21 on this. This continues to get cheaper and cheaper. I've said that I think this game is pretty good. It's definitely not $130 for the Ultimate Edition good, but I think it's a decent open world action title. You know, I like Star Wars from a setting standpoint, and I'm not a big Star Wars like movie buff or anything like that, but I thought Outlaws was a pretty good game. If you like Star Wars, I think you'll end up liking it. And it's a smaller scale Ubisoft open world, which I think totally works for this game, so definitely recommend that. Sonic X Shadow Generations, 50% off for $25. A lot of you guys were waiting for that to get cheaper and cheaper, and now it's getting much cheaper. So $25 on that, I think, is an excellent deal that I would strongly recommend. Definitely a great pickup there. So, you know, that game was just awesome. From the Sonic Generations remaster to the Shadow Campaign is what's really great about this game. The Shadow Campaign was awesome, and even though it's a bit on the shorter side, really very much on the shorter side, it's still very much worthwhile to go through. 7 hours-ish, around that range, and, you know, $50 for that was a little bit of a stretch, but I think at this price point, much more palatable. And Sonic Generations is great as well, so that'll be a good pickup. And then, you know, this is the final deal. You know, I got 10 deals out of the way, but I'd be remiss if I don't give a mention to MindsEye, baby! 50% off for $29.99. Yeah, you absolutely shouldn't buy this, but I do think it's kind of hilarious that it's $29.99. But to be fair, it was down to $19.99 at some spots, so, you know, physically that is. So it being $30 kind of showcases the digital tax that you do have to pay sometimes, but it is what it is. That'll do it for me. Again, these deals are all live right now on the Xbox Store, and you can expect parity when the PlayStation Store Black Friday sale does go live tomorrow. I think Delta Snake Eater is certainly the standout here. A nice discount on that for $49. You know, some other good deals. Hell Is Us, if you want to check that out. Ninja Gaiden 4, you guys at the very least have that game on your wish list. I'm so happy with how that game turned out, and, you know, seeing a nice 20% off discount, that's still a decent discount given that game came out like a month ago, less than a month ago, so definitely something I would recommend. But that's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.